Warning: Alan and JJ Johnson are not professional comedians. During this program, you will be exposed to unfiltered dad jokes in their most potent and raw form, dads telling them to each other. Watching this video may lead to serious physical harm, including facepalm concussions, head-shaking whiplash, and uncontrollable groaning. Proceed at your own risk.
Hey everybody, I'm Alan.
And I'm JJ.
And this is Two Dads and a Joke. We're here to give you a six-pack of dad jokes and just a shot of parenting advice. And so, JJ, you know, one of the big things about this whole COVID lockdown, being at home thing is I don't get to eat out at breakfast anymore. You know, it's been like 6 weeks since I've traveled. No, like 12 weeks since I've traveled.
Oh, wow.
And I'm used to getting up at a hotel somewhere like Fairfield Inn, or, you know, pretty much anywhere has a hot breakfast these days. At least most of the major chains do. And, you know, one of my favorite things is the Western omelet. You ever have a Western omelet?
Oh, yeah. Really good.
Yeah, you got peppers and ham and, you know, a little bit of cheddar in there maybe. But did you know there's a pretty good dad joke about a Western omelet?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I better not tell it, though. It's too cheesy.
Yeah, okay. So I've been working on a lot of new dad jokes, and I actually came up with a dad joke about construction. I just can't tell it. I'm still working on it.
Oh, that's what we are, folks. We are a work in progress.
Exactly.
We are a work in progress, JJ and I. We're working up to being able to tell actually funny jokes.
That's right.
And if you want to see that work in progress, if you know, hey, JJ, you ever seen those construction cameras, right? They got a webcam that's looking at the construction site. If you want to see the construction site of Two Dads and a Joke episode, just watch us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Two Dads and a Joke. We're out there all the time slowly constructing our dad joke nests. So one of my favorites that came up isn't maybe as much of a dad joke as you think, but it was just this awesome thing that came through on Father's Day. It was a picture of a bunch of toilet paper rolls in a box. And the guy had then wrapped up and put all the various cables in his house in it. You know, the USB you can't find. And it says, the thing says, "I'm not here to stop my fellow dads from hoarding cables. I'm here to help them manage their addiction." I just really liked it because I'm like, I got to start saving up toilet paper rolls now because I got cables. I got cables everywhere.
So, I was thinking about writing a new middle grade novel, and it was going to be about...
Really?
Yeah, it was going to be about ninjas, all right? Ooh. And I started thinking about, you know, what do ninjas have? You know, they got throwing stars and things like that. And do you know what I learned? Do you know what kind of shoes a ninja wears?
I don't know what kind of shoes a ninja wears.
Sneakers.
I've been really studying writing lately because I'm working on my next book, and actually got the third book in the series off to the editor right now. But in studying, I've learned a little bit about how to put irony in a story in a way that, you know, people can get it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you don't write it right, it doesn't come off right. But I also learned there is an opposite of irony. Do you know what that is?
No, I do not.
Wrinkly.
I had a feeling you were going towards something with like iron clothes or something like that. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of the idea of being a little bit disheveled or out of place really kind of plays into this next bit of scripture that we're going to talk about. And so if we think about, you know, what's been on your heart around keeping our eyes on the things of God, there are some things that they say we should avoid, because if we're not avoiding these things, we're definitely not keeping our mind, in the heavenly places, so to speak. So Colossians 3:5-11 says, "Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must also rid yourselves of all these things, such as anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its creator. Here there is no Gentile or Jew, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave or free, but Christ is all and is all in all." So what do you when this came forward, this is kind of a downer. I mean, where did your mind go with this one?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, when Paul just like nails you right upside the head with a lot. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he started out with the first several verses, of just in the first of chapter 3, and it was just like, okay, great, and then he kind of hits you upside the head with this stuff. And, I go back to verse 8 where it says, "Rid yourself of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips." And I think what we're seeing happen, and this is where we as believers need to be careful. Because, let's just be honest. There's some weird things going on in the world right now, at least in our country. And we as believers have an option. We can either be the individual that because let's face it, people look at us as Christians and they expect to receive something. What are we going to give them? I always say that, what do we give them? Are we giving them, just a couple canned goods of food here? Are we giving them a debate? Are we giving them an argument? Are we giving them Christ? And I think what happens is we see so many things on social media and in the news and happening around us, we get angry, just like everybody else gets angry. And one of the things that we as believers need to learn to do is to always kind of just take a step back. It's okay to be angry. Christ got angry. He walked into the temple. He flipped up the tables. All those things. It's when your anger leads to action that causes you to have rage or something like that, to have impure thoughts, to have slanderous thoughts about somebody. It's so quick to judge somebody simply by looking at a post that we see on social media. I do that all the time. I'm like, well, I don't want to follow them, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know much about what's going on in their life. But what really hits me is this very last verse right here, where it says, "Christ is all and is in all." And I think one of the things that we forget is that everybody, especially those that are in the church with us, we're all God's children. And I think we lose sight of that sometimes. And one of the things that we need to do is to remember to show the example of Christ before we show the other things that we may necessarily be passionate about, but might not necessarily need to be the things that we need to always be talking about. And so I think that's really hard for us as believers to do. I think it's hard for us as dads to do, because we want to set an example for our children that basically says, look, it's okay to get upset about things in this world, but make sure that the example that you're setting for others around you is one that always glorifies Christ. That's tough to do sometimes.
No, it's totally tough to do. And my thing right now is, as I kind of focus in on this verse in particular, it's got malice and slander. And really, this is sort of if you look at it, right, it says anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language. And to a certain extent, that is a thinking about how someone acts out. You get angry, you go in a rage, you spew out malice and slander on people, and in the midst of that, you're dropping filthy language on top of it.
Right.
And that is the world. That is what we see all over the world. And that's not Christ, because Christ is in all. And so, go and drop all of that filth on somebody else because you're mad and upset right now, and you might not even have the whole story.
Right.
I think that's been one of the hardest parts about sort of everything that's gone on, is I've seen just as much sort of mob hysteria from one side of the political fence or the other, both of which are violating these two ideas, right? This idea of anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language. Both of them are doing that. And it's very easy to pick sides and get caught up in it, when that's not what Christ would ask us to do. I mean, in the end, we still need to speak truth about things that are unjust. And we're called to do that. And historically, it's been Christians looking into that have, toppled all kinds of unjust regimes. It's kind of what Christ empowers people to do. And so I think it's really important for us as we work with our children to sort of correct that, right? Because they're going to get mad. They're going to get upset. Mm-hmm. And when they start running down to the malice and slander and filthy language about others, that's not Christ-like. And so I think that's been my biggest thing of sort of gently or maybe not so gently correcting my own kids, and even though they're older, to say, time out, hold on. We need to be above that. We need to find the way to really shine Christ light wherever we're at. And so I think, it's hard to do that, kind of across the board, especially when things don't go so well. I've got some stuff that hasn't gone so well, but I don't know about you, but in the quarantine, has shipping worked out all the time for you? Like the supplies and things you've ordered?
It depends on what it is.
I mean, when it comes to anger, malice, and slander, I've had some bad experiences with the FedEx and UPS over the past little bit. I don't know. Have you had bad experiences with that?
I've had a few bad experiences.
Yeah. So, but I found out recently that they're merging.
Oh, really?
FedEx and UPS are merging. Yeah. So now we can just call them Fed Up.
I love it.
I think I just violated the malice and slander there.
I think you did too, but hey.
I have to get
it was
some
good.
Forgiveness for that.
So, hey, this weekend on vacation, I almost went fly fishing. I almost went up to Missouri and went trout fishing. It's one of my favorite things to do.
That sounds awesome.
But we didn't do it. I mean, we decided to stay home, not travel anywhere or anything like that. But you know what? You know one of the best ways to watch a fly fishing tournament?
What is the best way to watch a fly fishing tournament?
Live stream.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Wow. Hey, everybody, this has been Alan.
And I'm JJ.
And we'll catch you all next time.
See ya.